Dr. Brain was not a series that was on my radar, but I'm glad I checked it out. And I got a lot of thoughts. So let's jump into my review of it right now. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the series Dr. Brain, which is going to be coming to Apple TV Plus November 4th. Now, again, this wasn't a series that was on my radar. There's a ton of things coming out, but I did not have this by any means on my schedule. But I decided to check it out since it was offered, and I was impressed. I thought the concept was cool. The visuals were spectacular. And overall, with it being sort of a mystery thriller, I was down for the ride the entire time. But I think this is a series you check out. It's 6 episodes. They're only about an hour each. They're going to be new episodes each and every week. So, you know, it's a short watch, but at the end of the day, I was very pleased. I was. It is a South Korean television series. And it's by the writer, director, and executive producer Kim Ji-woon, who I'm not familiar with any of his previous projects, but I mean, I'm probably going to go check him out for the visuals alone, because how some of these scenes, the imagery, and the cinematography, the effects, how it all comes together is something that I'm very high on all the time. The easiest way to kind of describe this to you folks is that for anybody who watch music videos, you know, some of the visuals that like Kanye West does or Kendrick Lamar, you know, that those out images and whatnot, and they're very vivid, they're telling in their own. This is what he did in a few scenes really good that I was kind of just at wow. But beyond that, the concept was cool. You have this doctor, Siwon Koo, who is searching for his son, Doo-won, who at a point was considered dead, but there has been clues leading him to believe that he is still alive. Now, here's the thing with Siwon. Siwon is a special individual. When he was younger, they realized that he had some type of social disorder, and they decided to do tests on him, and they realized that his brain was developing in a way that they had not seen before. Thus, his motor skills was excelling and exceeding 3 times his age, and this had gave him extraordinary abilities. I mean, he was doing Rubik's cubes, the most complex ones, within like 3 seconds, you know. But eventually he did grow. He ended up having a family. His social skills came along. But he lost his family. First of all, he had tragedy at a young age, and then when he got older, he also lost his son, and then his wife attempted to commit suicide because of the events of her son, which leaves him trying to find clues about why all of this is happening. Along with that, because he's a doctor, he's always been very interested into the study of the brain, obviously because of his own brain, and he does these experimental procedures where he basically do neuro or brain syncs, where essentially he can connect to other people's brains who have died within 48 hours, and he can access their memories. And this was something that he was testing. You know, he started out with obviously with mice, and then he went to human trials, and he realized like he may actually have something here. He may have some state-of-the-art technology that, you know, could be beneficial for a lot of reasons, but more or less this is for personal gain, because this helps him in order to solve the mystery of where his son is at and what happened with his wife. So it's a very interesting concept. Talking about the filmmaking elements again, I thought the visuals were fantastic. The cinematography was really good. I thought the score complemented all of these scenes really well. It's very safe to say that this series was bold yet insane. Especially episode 2. The way how episode 2 opens up is really the icing of the cake. And then because of him doing these procedures in which he is like, you know, connected to the brains, it's causing creepy yet very because of the hallucinations of it. The scenes are the imageries and whatnot are a tad bit creepy, a tad bit scary, you may want to say, because it's starting to blur the lines between what's reality and what's actually his subconscious and him being, you know, put under when he's doing the neurosync and whatnot. But like the visuals that's attached to all of that is really good. But it's also like a crime thriller, like murder mystery. So like I love stuff like this because the entire time you're trying to investigate like what's happening, and then you're dealing with Siwon when you're kind of like, well, what's really happening with him, you know? Because everybody thinks he's crazy. No one believes in his experiments. Well, a lot of people don't believe in his experiments, but they do know that he is very gifted, but they just think that he may be losing it because of the grieving and all of that whatnot. I mean, he had a tragic childhood, and then, you know, obviously the events of him being an adult. The very most important thing to take in watching this series is remember the scenes and what they're setting up with him being a child. While they do not focus on it a lot, there's so many clues within that you need going forward. Look for other characters who have similar traits or signs in which he start to show when he was younger, because that really helps you in the investigation process. Believe it or not, while this is a murder mystery, there's actually a good chunk of action as well too. About episode 3 is when that get introduced, and I was in heaven. I was like, okay, I can get with this. Now this is tapping to everything I like, you know. And then episode 4 I felt like was a little bit of a surprise in regards to the direction, because I feel like they kind of revealed things where at the same time you're trying to solve yourself, and they're kind of like, well, we'll just help you out here with it. But it doesn't take away from the series. I was just surprised that they were just, you know, would give you readily information about some of the mystery that's going on with the series. But oddly enough, when you think about this character Siwon, I mean, and the series in general, it kind of gives you Sense8 vibes. I mean, because not only is he getting enhanced abilities and like he's getting like a sixth sense, but it seems like he's channeling these skills from like other people that he's synced with. So Sense8, you know, because they were all neurally connected no matter where they were at in the world. And I think it's even proven that he may be actually syncing with more than humans, but I don't know. That's to be determined here. I want to know what your thoughts on that, because there was a scene where I was like, well, where did he learn that skill from? You know what I mean? But like I said, it's very important to focus on the scenes where they're focusing on his childhood, because there's a lot of clues, the traits and signs there will really help you going forward. And then the other thing about this too is because there's a missing young girl who is not only just the attention of his, but others looking for this girl, which she may have clues to where his son is at. So that's part of the journey here as well too. But I will say, when things come full circle in regards to the plot and whatnot, things are a little bit predictable, especially the antagonist. You know, his motivations and everything is pretty much something you've seen over and over again, like every supervillain. And although it is something that you're familiar with, it didn't take away from me enjoying it, but it was just like, makes sense, you know. But kind of establishing the pacing of this series. The first 2 episodes is establishing the plot and characters. The second, third, and fourth are establishing the action and the thrills. And then the 5th and 6th is where things are starting to get tied up and bringing us to a conclusion with a final fight, and like all the stakes are as high as it's ever been in the entire series. Not to mention there's a pretty badass final fight. There may be a fatality or whatnot. There may even be a Thanos snap, and I'm not playing. Like, things get kind of crazy. It's kind of gory at times, to be honest, to throw that out there. And while I feel like there was like minor gaps within the plot, you know, some things with his mother when he was a child, the abilities that he's getting and whatnot, I still thought it was pretty solid. And you know, I'll be very interested to see where this goes next, because it seems like they may be setting up for a season 2, because the season ends off in like a like an Inception like style of ending. You know what I mean? If you've seen the movie Inception, like kind of gives you that kind of vibes here, and I was kind of wild with that. You know, I wasn't expecting that at all. But if they do a season 2, I'm definitely on board for this. This was enjoyable. I loved all of the elements of this, and for 6 episodes, I was entertained the entire time. So, but this is Dr. Brain, folks. Again, it's gonna be on Apple TV Plus November 4th. Jump in the comments. Let me know if you're excited for this new South Korean thriller, drama, action series. I don't know, it hits all the genres. But yeah, check it out. Let me know your thoughts about it, and I'll see you around for more reviews very soon.